This is summer 2021. Is the mortgage market going up, down, or staying the same? This is the Mortgage Banking Livestream. Welcome, this is the Mortgage Banking Livestream. Today is June 15th, 2021. I'm Troy Garris Horn, and we are going to talk a little bit about politics today, a little bit about business, a little bit about regulation. If you have any questions, contact me. My contact information is down below in the description on the YouTube channel, and I will try to get any questions that you have answered. I'll try to get any topics that you have that you want to see on the show, and we'll try to get you the information that you need. As we get going, a couple shouts out. First of all, thank you to everybody who reached out to me. We took a little bit of a break as we were retooling some of what we were doing here on the Mortgage Banking Livestream. And there were a lot of people who reached out and said, is everything good? Are you okay? What's going on? And I assure you that everything is fine. We're just doing some retooling, some refashioning. I've got my studio here. I've got everything set up, and we enjoy what we do. We just want to make sure that we get you the best, most helpful information in the best format possible. And so that's what's going on, and we do appreciate it and the love and support. I thank you all. A couple of other points here. There is a Garris Horn. So Garris Horn is the law firm that I have separate from this live stream. This live stream is for fun. It's for getting information out to you. We do this just as a educational kind of a service, but the Garris Horn webinars, the next one which is coming up June 24th, is going to be focused on the CFPB, the new CFPB as it's retooled itself in the new administration, and what's coming down the pike. My partner Richard Horn is going to be speaking on that. I'll be speaking on that a little bit as well. One of my partners, Melanie Feliciano, is going to be on there. It should be a great session. It should be packed with value and information, and we recommend that you really tune into that and make sure that you get the information from that you can. Texas MBA, the economy is coming back. The people across the United States are starting to get used to going outside again, get used to coming back and seeing what else is out there and what's new out there, and trying to step back in and see what living really is like. And we're very excited about this. The Texas MBA is one of the very first that I know of that's going to be back live towards the end of August. In fact, August 29th through 31st at the Omni Fort Worth. There's going to be the Texas MBA's annual conference. They're going to have Michael Lewis, who is the author, a best-selling author. He wrote Moneyball. He wrote The Big Short. You've probably seen, if you haven't read the book, you've at least seen the movie. Touches right on what we do, right? And he's going to be one of the primary speakers there. Susan Stewart, who is currently chairman at the MBA, the National Mortgage Bankers Association, she's going to be there speaking. She's also the CEO of SWBC. Susan is a fantastic leader in this industry, and she is a dear friend. And she's just one of the people that make this industry great. And lots of love to Susan, all the wonderful things she does, and in fact her whole team at SWBC and in her volunteer work and association work as well. In addition, the Mortgage Bankers Association, again, the National Mortgage Bankers Association, in September is going to hold its Reg Compliance Conference. That also is scheduled to be live. Now, all of this, of course, is subject to potential change, right? Things in the United States, the numbers are going quite well. The pandemic is receding. More and more people are getting vaccinated. I am fully vaccinated. And have been for a little bit of time now, and feel comfortable getting out. I will tell you that I just went out and met a friend over the weekend, and he and I went to a place that we like to go to sometimes pre-pandemic times, and we were just sort of hanging out and enjoying ourselves, and it seemed to be business as usual. We were in a place, Texas anyway is currently optional for masks, has been for a little bit of time now. There was nobody that was social distancing in this place. There was nobody that was wearing a mask that we could see. It seems to be that, at least here in Texas, that people view this as normal times again. That's great for the economy, potentially, unless the numbers start to turn really badly and things start to go downhill again. So I do caution people to be mindful. I do encourage people to get a vaccine, assuming that you don't have any particular health problem that prevents it. The risk, when you think about it, the risk of getting the vaccine versus not getting the vaccine seems to me to be heavily weighted in favor of getting it. And that's not a political statement. That's just, what I hear from the public health officials. And I have friends who are epidemiologists, and they're getting the vaccine themselves. They're getting their children, assuming that they're eligible vaccines, and I tend to follow what the doctors do. They went to med school for the same reason I went to law school, to learn to be good at what they do. I trust them better than I trust me on these things. But anyway, it's here in Texas. It seems to be business as usual, and I think on balance that's a really good thing, because we really do need this economy to get back in shape. Let's talk a little bit about some of the statistics in the market. Home sales have been fascinating. Increased materials costs, of course, lack of inventory still a lot of places, and inventory is, at least in this area and from what I hear across the country, in many places inventory is dramatically low. Just not enough homes, and lots of pent-up demand that was pre-pandemic, actually, that is out there, and lots of buyers and not enough homes, which is driving prices up. It's driving the competitive nature of the process up. Housing starts were up, last measured from NAHB. Housing starts were up 19.4%. Quite dramatic increase in housing starts. There's a lot of confidence with builders. Of course, it's always a lagging indicator, right? And hopefully they will be able to balance the need to have new housing starts. Brings in a lot of jobs, great for the economy, but it's a lagging indicator, and it tends to be one that, the starts are always trailing the demand, and hopefully that will balance out in a manner that is helpful and healthy for the economy. Another interesting fact is that existing homes for vacation homes spiked last year. One might think that this would just make sense. To me, it does. But up 16.3%, according to NAR, National Association of Realtors, that the existing home sales for vacation homes in 2020 was up over 16%. And I think this is in part due to the pandemic, and in part due to people just worried about going into hotels and public places. But those sales skyrocketed, again, leading to lack of inventory. There are a lot of people also moving around the country. I know in Texas here, we've had a huge influx of people, especially coming from California, coming from New York, places that historically have had higher home prices. And so there's a lot of cash on the table for deals in the Texas markets, and it's making people in the area here have a difficult time to win bids effectively on homes. There's also a problem there that I think that could be fixed if the real estate agents and brokers here were allowed to enable some competition that just isn't facilitated through the current contracts, and they may want to think about that, so that that some of the places I come out of the DC area, for example, and there are techniques there to make the process for effectively bidding on homes more transparent. If anybody has any questions about that, give me a call and I can chat through that with you. Mortgage applications are down, according to MBA, slightly, just over 3% from the week prior, and that's just the healthy sign of the economy. Where the numbers of applications are up and down a little bit over time. Loans in forbearance also down. Those numbers also quite positive news as a general matter, down just over 4%, 4.04%. But I'll tell you, there's still, according to the MBA, there's still 2 million or so homeowners that are in forbearance. That's a big number. And as those forbearance periods start to run out and to end, people are going to have to figure out how to handle those types of situations. M&A activity in the mortgage business and elsewhere is strong. I've seen a number of deals. I've been involved in several deals over the past few months, and that activity remains quite significant. And there are people that want to bring new money and consolidation and efficiency into the mortgage industry, and all of that seems to me to be a helpful and healthy sign. I do think that people should ask themselves, when they are involved in mergers and acquisitions, when the M&A starts heating up, what is really going on in the industry, and just make sure that people are aware and people are cognizant and thinking through. And there are a lot of people, of course, that talk about how last time, for example, in the 7, 8, 9 downturn, this happened or that happened. In the bubble that occurred and back in the .com downturn around the 2000 era, people refer back to those situations and talk about how the market acted then and how it probably should be acting similarly now. You will notice that in all of those conversations, they always have the disclaimer that what happened in the past is not really a predictor of the future. And I like to think about Jim Cramer, and I like to think about Warren Buffett, who tell us that it doesn't really matter where a stock or a particular item was in the past, sort of who cares, but where's it going? That's what people want to focus on, and that's what I tend to like to focus on. So that's it for biz. Let me talk about regulation just a little bit. Like I mentioned, we're going to have a webinar. The Garris Horn Law Firm is going to have a webinar on the CFPB, and so I won't talk too much about that. I just will tell you that first of all, that webinar is a HIT webinar, so a high intensity training webinar. It's going to be 30 minutes. It's going to be packed with information, and you should check that out. It should be helpful, and you just reach out. They've sent out. The firm has sent out invitations to people as well, but just you can get to it at the Garris Horn website. You can contact me. Again, my information is down below. I can send you over. I can get you to the right people to sign up for that if you need. But I will tell you that Dave Weggio, the current acting CFPB director, continues to be very forward-leaning, and some might say assertive, others might say aggressive even, in his approach on how the market, or rather how the agency is acting. He made clear in a recent National Mortgage Bankers Association conference that he said, look, I'm not here to act as a steward of the agency while the new director gets nominated and confirmed. I'm here to act as the director. And so I'm taking action. I'm moving the agency forward, and I'm not waiting for the new person to arrive. That person probably will be arriving relatively soon. He's been nominated already. I think the likelihood that he will be confirmed is pretty high. He's a current FTC commissioner, and again, the likelihood he will be in place. Rohit Chopra is his name, but it pretty likely, I think, that he will be confirmed, all things equal and nothing extraordinary happening. But that said, he's not going to be there for a little while. They'll talk about that on that webinar. Let's talk a little bit about HUD, because HUD gets left these days a little bit in the background since it no longer has jurisdiction over REST. But I will say that I remind people that it has jurisdiction over fair lending, and to some degree the Fair Housing Act. And you can expect that there will be a pretty forward-leaning HUD as well. There's so the HUD, just to set the scene, has its secretary in place. So Marcia Fudge, a representative out of Ohio. She was a rep for quite some years, 13 years or so, out of Ohio. Lopa Kaluri, she has a lot of experience. She's the FHA commissioner now, and she's had a lot of experience. She was a deputy chief of staff to Sean Donovan when he was the director she was there from 2011 to 2013, and so they're starting to get their people in place. They've got some key positions filled now, and the staff is moving processes along. I'm involved in a fair number of matters over there. For example, on the Mortgage Review Board side and the FHA approval side, and I can tell you that all those functions are starting to percolate along in the normal course, as one might expect, a little faster than one might expect in terms of history, anyways. Often, when a new administration comes in, it takes several months, if not a lot of months, to get all of those processes going. And they've been doing a fantastic job over there at HUD, keeping things moving along. And they've had several MRB meetings at this point. And they have more scheduled, and they're moving everything along. They've been, by the way, as always, people have differing views on how agencies and the people who work at agencies operate, and often, of course, because they are mortgage bankers, regulators, people often think of them as almost as the nemesis. But in fact, they may have a difference of opinion of how things operate or should operate, but especially at HUD and even in fact in most regulatory agencies that I find that I interact with, the people are very professional, and that's true for HUD as well. So I'm going to wrap it up there. I appreciate all the support and the encouragement that we get at the Mortgage Banking live stream. I will tell you that we have a lot of great supporters, and I do want to say thank you to a lot of people and my team here. Thank you for everything that you do as well, and get out there, do some great mortgage banking, get some good loans, work cleanly and in a compliant manner, because we do have a fairly forward-leaning regulatory environment at the moment, and it will probably continue to be that way for some time. This is the Mortgage Banking live stream. We will see you next time very soon. Peace out.